I used to think the worst thing that could happen at a wedding was rain, or maybe a drunk uncle fighting the groom. I was naive. I didn't know that the worst thing that could happen was my own flesh and blood, standing in an $18,000 Galia Le Havre gown she didn't own, holding an iPhone like a weapon of mass destruction. I'm writing this now from my studio in Lodo, looking out at the Denver skyline. I have a glass of obscure Japanese whiskey on my desk and a signed settlement agreement in my safe. My hands aren't shaking anymore. They haven't shaken in 2 years. But I need to get this out. I need the internet to know exactly how Emma Rose Photo died, and how she clawed her way back out of the grave to drag her killer down with her. This is a long one. Grab a drink. Maybe grab two. 3 years ago, I was untouchable. I'm 32 now, but at 29, I was already in the top 1% of wedding photographers in Colorado. I didn't shoot barn weddings. I didn't shoot rustic chic. I shot Vogue caliber events in Aspen, Vail, and Telluride. My minimum package started at $12,000. I was booked out 18 months in advance. I had sacrificed everything for this. And my 20s were a blur of editing until 4 a.m., missed birthdays, ruined relationships, and carrying 40 pounds of gear up mountains at sunrise. I built my brand on trust, discretion, perfection. When billionaires get married, they don't just want pretty pictures. They want a vault. They want to know that you see everything and say nothing. Then came the wedding. The bride was Isabella. I won't use her last name, but her father is in real estate development, the kind that reshapes skylines. And her fiancé, Julian, was tech royalty. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a merger. The budget was rumored to be $4 million. The location was a private ranch outside Aspen that hadn't hosted an event in a decade. The guest list was 220 people, requiring NDA signatures just to receive the save the date. Isabella booked me for the legacy package: engagement, rehearsal, dinner, welcome party, and the wedding day. Total contract value, $85,000. It was the job that would retire my student loans. It was the job that would put me on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. Enter Olivia. My sister, Olivia, 28 at the time, is difficult to explain. You know that person who floats through life on a cloud of weaponized incompetence and charisma? That's her. She was the creative one, the free spirit. While I was building a business, she was dropping out of 3 different colleges to find her aesthetic. At the time, she was trying to be an influencer. She had about 45K followers on Instagram and TikTok, mostly from posting day-in-the-life vlogs, where she spent our parents' money on matcha lattes and fast fashion. When I told my parents about the Aspen job a mistake, I know my mom's eyes lit up. "Oh, Emma! Olivia has been so down lately. Her engagement metrics are stalling. You should take her." "Take her?" I laughed, cutting a piece of steak. "Mom, this is a paramilitary operation. I have 2 second shooters and a lighting assistant. I don't need a +1. Not as a guest," Mom said, using that tone that meant, "do this" or "you're a bad sister." As an assistant. She wants to get into event content creation. She can hold your lights, just for the experience. "Absolutely not." "Emma," my dad chimed in, looking over his reading glasses. "Help your sister. She looks up to you. She just needs a win. Don't be selfish." I fought it for 3 weeks, but Olivia wore me down. She sent me long, apologetic texts. She promised she just wanted to learn. She swore she'd leave her phone in the car. She signed the NDA. She signed the contractor agreement. I made her sign a specific rider that said, "Under no circumstances is the contractor permitted to capture personal content, post to social media, or interact with guests as anything other than staff." "I get it, Em," she said, hugging me in my driveway the morning we left. "Strictly business. I'm just there to carry bags. I promise." I believed her. I looked at her big, watery blue eyes, the ones that always got her out of speeding tickets, and I believed her. The wedding weekend was flawless. The rehearsal dinner was a mountain Gothic theme. Black velvet, thousands of candles, moody and expensive. I was in the zone. My team, my actual team, Dave and Sarah, were crushing it. Olivia was surprisingly helpful. She carried the reflectors, fetched water, and stayed quiet. I let my guard down. The wedding day, Saturday. The ceremony was scheduled for 4:30 p.m. At 2 p.m., we were in the bride's cottage, a massive, timber-framed master suite separate from the main lodge. Isabella was in the other room getting her final makeup touches. Hanging in the main living area, suspended from a custom brass rack, was the dress. It was a custom Galia Le Havre, their $18,000. Backless, intricate lace, with a train that looked like spun sugar. It was a piece of art. I was setting up a flat lay shot of the invitations on the coffee table. My lead shooter, Dave, was outside scouting the lighting for the first look. Olivia whispered. She was standing by the dress, staring at it. It's so small. Do you think she's a size 2? Don't touch it, Liv, I said, not looking up from my viewfinder. Go check if the florist is done with the arch. I just need to use the bathroom first. My stomach is weird. Make it quick. We have 45 minutes until she gets dressed. I finished the flat lays. I went outside to check on Dave. I was gone for maybe 8 minutes. 10. Tops. As I walked back toward the cottage, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Then again. Then 3 times in rapid succession. I ignored it. I was on a job. Then my Apple Watch vibrated. Incoming call. Mom. I declined it. Then a text from my best friend. Julie. Emma. Instagram. Now. My stomach dropped. That specific sensation, like stepping off a curb, you didn't know was there. I stopped walking. I unlocked my phone. I opened Instagram. At the top of my feed, surrounded by the pink ring that indicates a live video, Olivia Rose, official, is live. I tapped it. The screen filled with white lace. Guys, Olivia's voice whispered, breathless and giddy. Oh my God, look at me. She stepped back. I stood frozen on the gravel path, the aspen wind chilling the sweat on my neck. My sister was wearing the bride's dress. She was in the bride's cottage, standing in front of the full-length mirror. She had squeezed herself into the gown. The zipper wasn't done up all the way, it was too small for her, but she was holding the bodice against her chest. This is literally a $20,000 dress, she was saying to the camera. The viewer count in the corner was ticking up rapidly. 200, 500, 1,200. The bride is literally in the other room, she giggled, putting a finger to her lips. She's some rich, stuck-up heiress named Isabella, last name. Look at this. Venue, though. We're at the private ranch name. It's insane. I'm literally the bride right now. Runaway bride vibes. Should I just steal it? LOL. She spun around. She picked up the contract I had left on the table, the one with the full schedule, the client's full legal names, the budget breakdown, and the security codes for the gate. Look at this, she said, shoving the paper into the camera lens. $85,000 for photos. Can you imagine? My sister is ripping them off so hard. I didn't run. I teleported. I burst through the cottage door. Olivia turned, phone still in hand. Oh, hey, Em. The lighting in here is, take it off, I screamed. I have never screamed at a job in my life. My voice cracked, raw and primal. Olivia flinched, but she didn't stop recording. She turned the phone toward me. Guys, my sister is freaking out. Total Bridezilla energy from the photographer. I lunged for her. I snatched the phone from her hand. The screen was a blur of comments. What the fuck is she doing? Is that Isabella, last name? Screenshotted the address. I'm in Aspen, let's go crash. She just doxed the whole wedding. I ended the live stream. My hands were trembling so hard I almost dropped the device. "What is wrong with you?" I hissed, my voice dropping to a terrified whisper. "Take that dress off. Now. God, relax." Olivia rolled her eyes, reaching for the zipper. "It was just a prank. I was going to delete it. It's just for content. Nobody saw it. 42,000 people saw it, Olivia. You just showed the contract. You just doxed the venue." The door to the bedroom opened. Isabella stood there. She was in her silk robe. Her makeup was perfect. Her face was completely, utterly blank. She looked at Olivia, half in, half out of the custom gown. She looked at the phone in my hand. She looked at the contract on the floor. "Get out," Isabella said, very quietly. "It's okay," Olivia chirped, stepping out of the dress and letting it pool on the floor, on the dirty floor. "I didn't stretch it or anything. I'm Emma's sister. I was just testing the light." "Get out," Isabella said again. She looked at me. Her eyes were like shark glass. "You too, and your team. You have 10 minutes to get off the property before I call security to drag you off." "Isabella, please," I begged, tears instantly springing to my eyes. "I had no idea. I will delete everything. We can fix this." "She read my address," Isabella said. Her voice wasn't angry. It was terrified. She read Julian's parents' names. She showed the gate code. "We have security threats, Emma. That's why we have NDAs. That's why we hired you." She walked over to the dress. She picked it up, looked at the makeup smear Olivia had left on the neckline, and dropped it into the trash can. "The wedding is over," she said. "Tell the planner to send everyone home. We can't be here if the location is public." The next 6 hours were a blur of lawyers, security guards, and police. The wedding was canceled 38 minutes before the ceremony. Because Olivia had broadcast the gate code and the location, 3 cars of fans had already shown up at the main gate by the time we were escorted off the property. Julian's security team deemed the site compromised. I sat in my Subaru in a parking lot in Glenwood Springs, staring at the steering wheel. Olivia was in the passenger seat, scrolling on her phone. "They're overreacting," she muttered. "It's free publicity. They should be thanking me." "Shut up," I whispered. "Whatever. Look, I gained 12,000 followers in an hour. This is going viral, Em. We should pivot. We can make a video about get out of my car." "What?" "We're in the middle of nowhere. Get out." I left her at a gas station. I called my dad to come pick her up. I drove home in silence, the kind of silence that rings in your ears. The lawsuit arrived via courier on Tuesday morning. Plaintiff, Isabella, redacted, and Julian, redacted. Defendant, Emma Rose, Photography LLC. Causes of action: breach of contract, breach of confidentiality, negligence, invasion of privacy, infliction of emotional distress. Damages sought: $127,000. Venue deposits, catering, travel, plus legal fees, plus punitive damages. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the industry. By Wednesday, the story was everywhere. Not the truth, Olivia's version. She had gone onto TikTok and posted a storytime video. She sat in her bedroom, wrapped in a blanket, looking teary-eyed. "So, I was working as a photographer at this insane wedding, and the bride was being such a monster to the staff. I tried on the dress as a joke to lighten the mood, which, by the way, she wasn't even using yet, and she literally screamed at me and kicked my sister out. Rich people are so out of touch. Anyway, sorry not sorry. Eat the rich." The video had 4.5 million views. The comments were all on her side. "Yas queen, humble them. It's just a dress. Why, are they so mad?" Meanwhile, my inbox was a graveyard. Every planner I had relationships with emailed me. "Emma, we love you, but we can't refer you anymore. The liability is too high. Emma, my clients saw the TikTok. They're canceling. I had 22 weddings booked for the next year. 18 of them canceled within the week. They demanded their deposits back. My contract stated deposits were non-refundable, but my lawyer, a tired man named George, told me to pay them. If you fight the deposits, they'll join the class action or sue you individually. You need to liquidate to stop the bleeding. So I did. I drained my savings. I sold my Nikon Z9S. I sold my lenses. I sold my iMac. I lost the studio lease. And my parents? I went to their house for dinner 2 weeks later, looking for comfort. I found a celebration. Olivia was at the table, beaming. She had a ring light set up in the kitchen. "Emma," Mom said, plating lasagna. "Don't look so sour. Have you seen Olivia's numbers? She's at 100K followers. A brand called Fashion Nova just sent her a $5,000 contract." "She ruined my life," I said, standing in the doorway. "I am being sued for $300,000, Mom. I lost my business." "Oh, stop being dramatic," Dad said, pouring wine. "You have insurance, don't you?" "That's what it's for. Olivia made a mistake, but look at how she's turning it around. She's an entrepreneur, just like you." "She's not an entrepreneur," I said, my voice shaking. "She's a liability. You're just jealous," Olivia smirked, taking a bite of bread. "You're old media, Em. I'm new media. The runaway bride prank is my brand now. I'm actually thinking of trademarking it." I looked at them, my family, the people I had bought Christmas gifts for, the people I had supported. I turned around and walked out. I blocked them all before I even started the car. For 14 months, I was a ghost. I moved into a studio apartment that smelled like boiled cabbage. I got a job editing real estate photos for a generic online company, soulless, high-volume work, $15 an hour. I settled the lawsuit with Isabella. My business liability insurance covered a chunk, but the gross negligence clause meant they fought me on the rest. I ended up personally liable for $45,000. I declared bankruptcy for the LLC. Emma Rose's photo was dead, but while I was eating ramen and editing photos of bathrooms, I was watching. Olivia's star was rising. She leaned fully into the villain role. She branded herself the Runaway Bride Prank Queen. She did a podcast tour on Call Her Daddy, or a knockoff version. She told the story again, embellishing it further. "Yeah, my sister actually dared me to do it. She thought it would be funny. And then when we got caught, she threw me under the bus to save her own skin. We don't talk anymore." It's sad when money changes people. I transcribed that podcast. I saved the audio file. She launched merch, hoodies that said, "Run Away" in the Barbie font, t-shirts with a cartoon of a girl in a wedding dress holding a middle finger up. She got sponsorships. Pretty Little Thing, Casetify. Even a wedding dress startup called Love Bridal sponsored her, thinking it was edgy. She posted her earnings report on her close friends story, which my friend Julie, who Olivia hadn't blocked, screenshotted for me. April 2026. Income, brand deals, $22,000. Merch, $8,500. Creator fund, $4,200. She bought a Tesla. She moved into a loft in Rhino. She posted a video of her buying our parents a trip to Italy. "Best daughter ever," my mom commented. Every time I saw her face, I felt a cold, hard stone forming in my stomach. It wasn't anger anymore. Anger is hot. This was something else. This was calculation. I started Taj from the wedding day, the video clips my second shooter had taken for our own behind-the-scenes reel. I found a clip from 1:45 p.m., 15 minutes before the incident. In the background of the shot, Olivia is holding her phone. You can see her screen. She isn't checking emails. She's typing into her notes app. I zoomed in. 400%. It was blurry, but legible. It was a script. Hey guys, I'm gonna try on the dress. Oh my god, so crazy. If I get caught. She hadn't accidentally gone live. She had planned it. She had drafted the caption. She had premeditated the breach of contract. That changed everything. Accident is negligence. Planned is tortious interference with business relations. It's malice. Then, I looked at the trademark database. Olivia had talked about trademarking runaway bride prank. I searched the USPTO. Nothing. She was lazy. She assumed saying it made it hers. I looked at her merch store. She was selling clothing, mugs, and phone cases with the phrase Runaway Bride Prank Squad. I called a new lawyer, not George. I called a shark named Evelyn who specialized in IP law and hated influencers. Here's the situation, I told her, laying out the folder. I want to know if I have a case. Evelyn looked at the script screenshot. She looked at the podcast transcripts where Olivia admitted to making money off the story. She looked at my bankruptcy papers. You don't just have a case, Emma. Evelyn smiled. You have a slaughter. The revenge didn't happen all at once. It was a 3-step waltz. Step 1. The trademark I formed a shell company in Delaware. ERP Holdings, LLC. I filed a trademark application for Runaway Bride Prank for Class 2 5 clothing and Class 4 1 entertainment services. Because Olivia had been using it commercially but hadn't registered it, there was a risk she could claim prior use. But I knew Olivia. She didn't keep receipts. She didn't have organized business records. I waited. The application went through the publication phase. No opposition. Olivia wasn't checking the USPTO Gazette. She was too busy making TikToks about her toxic family. 6 months later, the registration certificate arrived. I now owned the brand she had built her entire career on. Step 2. The honeypot I needed to maximize the damages. I needed her to commit to a massive inventory. I knew Olivia was planning a 1-year anniversary drop for the prank. She was teasing it heavily. She had ordered 5,000 units of custom hoodies. She had booked a launch party at a club in Denver. I waited until 2 days before the launch. Step 3. The nuclear option. It was a Tuesday. Olivia's launch was Thursday. I gave the signal. 9 a.m. Evelyn filed the lawsuit in federal court. Plaintiff, Emma Rose, and ERP Holdings. Defendant, Olivia Rose. Counts: asterisk, trademark infringement, treble, damages for willful infringement, asterisk, defamation, per se, asterisk, tortious interference with contractual relations, using the premeditated script evidence, asterisk, unjust enrichment. We were asking for all profits derived from the Runaway Bride brand. All of it. 9:15 a.m. We served cease and desist orders to every single one of her sponsors: Fashion Nova, Bloom Nutrition, Castify. The letters were brutal. They included the proof that Olivia had lied about the permission, defamation, and that she was currently infringing on a federal trademark. We hinted that continued association with her could make them liable for contributory infringement. 9:30 a.m. The process server caught Olivia at Starbucks. My friend Julie was parked across the street. She filmed it. Olivia taking the thick stack of papers. Her confusion. Then, her face crumbling as she read the first page. I uploaded the video. I had spent 4 months editing it. A 42-minute YouTube documentary titled The Truth About the Runaway Bride Prank. It wasn't a rant. It was forensic evidence. I showed the contracts. I showed the text messages where she begged to help. I showed the screenshot of her phone with the scripted prank time-stamped before the incident. I played the podcast clip where she lied about me giving permission, then cut to the text message from that same day where she apologized and admitted she messed up. I showed the bankruptcy filing of my business. And finally, I showed the trademark registration certificate. I ended the video with a simple voiceover. You didn't steal a dress, Olivia. You stole a life. And now, I'm taking it back. The internet loves a villain, but they love a fraud even more. My video hit 100,000 views in an hour, 1 million by dinner, 12 million by the end of the week. The turn was violent. The comments on Olivia's TikToks shifted instantly. You lied about your sister? Wait, she planned it? That's psycho. She trademarked your brand. LMAU. You're cooked. Then, the sponsors bailed. Because we had served them legally, they couldn't ignore it. Fashion Nova dropped her publicly. Casetify pulled her collection from the site by noon. The club canceled her launch party because of security concerns. Olivia tried to go live to explain. It was a disaster. She was crying, fake crying, but she didn't have a script. She spiraled. She screamed that I was a jealous hag. She admitted she didn't check the trademark registry. It's not fair. That's my brand, she screamed. Clip channels re-uploaded it instantly. Influencer meltdown of the century. The legal aftermath. Olivia didn't have a leg to stand on. She had clearly infringed the trademark. The defamation evidence was ironclad. The script proved malice. The tortious interference was the nail in the coffin. Her lawyer, probably paid for by Dad, tried to settle. She'll give you $50,000, he offered. No, Evelyn said. We want everything. We want a forensic accounting of every dollar she made since the date of the wedding. And we want it all. We went to mediation, but I held the line. I knew she had the money sitting in a high-yield savings account because she had bragged about it. 6 months of litigation. The court ordered a summary judgment on the trademark issue. She was liable. Because it was willful, the judge tripled the damages on the merch sales. The settlement, Olivia was facing bankruptcy. To avoid a trial that would publicize her finances further, she folded. Here is what she had to do. Asterisk. Financials. She paid me $342,000. This was roughly 90% of her liquid assets. It covered my lost income, the lawsuit from the bride, and my legal fees, plus damages. Asterisk. Digital death. She had to delete the Olivia Rose official account. She had to hand over the handle to me. I archived it and locked it. Asterisk. The apology. She had to post a 60-second video, approved by my lawyer, on her backup account, admitting she lied, admitting it was premeditated, and apologizing to me and Isabella. I watched the money hit my account on a Tuesday at $342,000. I paid off my debts. I bought new gear. I put a down payment on a house. Epilogue. That was 2 years ago. I rebranded. I'm not Emma Rose Photo anymore. I go by a different name, focused on ultra-private, high-security events. My new marketing angle? The photographer who keeps your secrets. Billionaires love it. The story of how I nuked my own sister to protect a client's privacy became a legend in the industry. I'm booked until 2029. My rate is now $25,000 minimum. My parents tried to contact me after the settlement. Dad sent an email saying, "You've made your point. You ruined her. Are you happy? She's family." I didn't reply. I just forwarded the email to my spam folder. And Olivia? The internet is cruel, but it has a short memory for some things. Not for this, though. The runaway bride fraud label stuck. She couldn't get brand deals. Her credit was shot from the legal bills. Last I heard from a mutual cousin, she's living in my parents' basement again. She's working as a cashier at Whole Foods in Boulder. Sometimes, when I'm driving to a shoot in Aspen, passing those golden trees, I check her new TikTok account. She has 2,800 followers. She posts videos about healing and toxic siblings. They get about 50 views. I don't feel guilty. She wanted to be famous. She wanted to be the main character. I just gave her exactly what she wanted, a story that no one will ever forget.